Listen to the following talk.
Too exhausted, but I dare not rest. I just want to rest, but because of my 2 kids, my family, and a job that many dream of, I keep pushing myself. I'm 34 years old, born in a poor rural mountain area. The image of a child covered in mud, carrying a bundle of firewood that you might casually come across online, that was me back then. Life was tough. I had many siblings, my dad was in debt with no stable job, and my mom was a poorly paid teacher in the early 2000s. My parents constantly argued, and this pushed me to strive for a way out of poverty. However, I was only an average student, with limited educational opportunities in my area and just average looks. To escape the life of gathering firewood, climbing hills, foraging for bamboo shoots, and nearly being sexually assaulted once while gathering firewood alone. Thankfully, I fought back and escaped. I worked hard to pass the entrance exam for a teacher's college in the mountains. To support myself, I worked as a tutor while studying. Upon graduation, because of my family's financial difficulties and lack of money for job applications, I refused to go the arranged marriage route in exchange for a job. Fortunately, I landed a position with a Korean project close to home, starting as an assistant secretary and later taking on various roles in other departments. The job gradually became stable, and my starting salary was around 10 million VND, 3 times higher than other fields at that time. I studied English education. I lived frugally, saved diligently, and after just over 2 years, I bought a piece of land for nearly 200 million VND. I then pursued a second degree in accounting. This 2.5-year period was extremely tough as I balanced work and studies, often working 9 to 10 hours a day with meetings and dinners stretching into late nights. My entire youth up to nearly 30 was focused on working, studying, and saving money for land. After my second child was born, I managed to buy 3 plots of land in my hometown, which are now worth over 3 billion VND. I also received a piece of land on the outskirts of Hanoi from my parents because my dad followed my mom to live in her village, leaving land for the children. I didn't have any romantic relationships. Among a sea of Korean bosses, about 40 of them, I was just the model employee with a perfect professional demeanor. After the project ended, I followed them to Hanoi, where I settled down and got married. My husband is from Hanoi, a military professor from a well-off family. My in-laws, though from a farming background, are warm and loving. Given the demands of military life, with him often away for training, it's been tough financially and in terms of child rearing, especially having 2 kids back to back. Despite my in-laws being well off, I don't rely on them much. I hired help for childcare, and my kids started school early. My in-laws are well off because of their extensive land, not because of business. So we're pretty independent and don't lean on them much. There was a time when my husband's investments failed, and my in-laws had to sell land to pay off debts, which strained our relationship. I've always been independent. So now that my husband has finished his studies and earns a decent salary of around 20 million VND, while I make about 30 million VND, we've moved out on our own. We have 2 kids, 1 boy and 1 girl. Although we don't have stable housing or vehicles yet, things have become easier. However, these days, I'm constantly running between 2 companies and taking care of my kids in the evenings, while also trying to learn Korean in my spare time. The pressure from work is making me tired and irritable. I'm not good at business, I have a gentle nature, and I enjoy cooking, reading, cleaning, and gardening. This has led to insomnia. I've struggled with anxiety disorder before and underwent a year of treatment with both Eastern and Western medicine, along with meditation. I just want to rest, but because of my 2 kids, my family, and a job that many people envy, I still get weekends off. I keep going. However, my health is showing signs of decline, and as I get older, it's becoming harder to stay stable at work, which adds to the pressure. I constantly fear unemployment, becoming dependent on my husband, and that my in-laws will see me differently. Honestly, I'm writing this as a way to share, to motivate myself, and to seek useful advice from readers for my future life.
This content is just an example for learning English. Thank you for watching. How do you feel about this video? Please leave a comment below.